Hello and welcome to the Market Dominators Real Estate Podcast. I am your host, Associate Real Estate Broker and the original Market Dominator, John Spaschak. And I am here gladly with my partner in crime, the number one buyer's agent in Western New York, award-winning agent, Mr. Scott Catillus. How are you, my good man?
Hey, I'm John. I'm doing good, man. Glad to be here today. Thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, we want to welcome you and thank you for showing up. We hope that you'll gather something today that's informational that you can stick in your brain and take with you when you go out in the world of real estate. John, where are we right now? Where are we?
We are in a very, very special place. We are in our new studio, folks. Listen, we still have some work to do, but we are now sitting in our new official Market Dominator studio, where we will be bringing pretty legit our new real estate podcast from here, week in and week out. So we are very, very excited about that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it here.
We're going to add some cool stuff too and have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
In this. Yeah. No doubt.
Should be good. This has been like what, 2-month project?
Yeah, it's been a 2-month project. It's, all that wall behind you see is all new drywall, new lighting, new carpeting, a new room. Yeah. In fact, right now we are on the air, and outside of this room, outside of the door, there is a light on the wall with a covered box that says live on the air.
Yeah, our little on-air sign. Pretty sweet.
Our little on-air sign.
Legit.
And that keeps the Market Dominator Jr. From interrupting our show. Yes. In fact, well, first thing I want to say is, yes, we hope that you get a lot of information out of this, because the Market Dominators who you are listening to right now, we really, really seek to educate, to advocate, to negotiate, and to dominate. That's what we do. So we bring you information. We're hopefully, for you as an end user, a consumer, can glean some information. Most of the podcasts that are out there are for realtors. And we are really designing this one and creating this one for you, the client, the consumer, the seller, the buyer. So you can learn how to navigate in this crazy market and any market in which we begin to move into. And we do sense a little bit of a change coming because of something called interest rate.
And they're rising, going up, going up. So we've had a lot of inflation, right? A lot of higher prices across the economy in pretty much every sector, right? And so the government's overall goal is to try to slow that down a little bit, right? And majority of our economy works on debt and borrowing. So if you raise the rates, make it a little more costly to borrow, the hopeful goal is that will slow down a little bit. Now, is it gonna? We don't entirely know.
Well, I think that's a little bit of a facade that they want to raise rates to lower inflation. They say that, but we have printed so much money.
Oh, absolutely.
Trillions and trillions of dollars over the last 10 years that we are in such debt that we can no longer afford the interest payments.
It's
and the
super
interest
high.
Payments are based on the value of the dollar. So if you bring the value of the dollar down, your interest payments aren't as much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, it's super complex, right? I mean, there's so many sides to the economics of everything that our economy works on, and
it is complex. But if you think about it, we think real estate can be complex sometimes, and we like to break it down here. So let's just give a quick education on that. So if the dollar is worth $1 and you borrow money and now you have to pay that back and you have to pay $10 back. But now going forward 5 years later, the dollar is only worth $0.50. And so now what you have to pay back is less.
Yeah.
So causing inflation is actually a secret way of helping the government have to be able to afford the interest payments.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so it really then gets put on the American people, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And so the American people end up costing. So when is it with respect to real estate, we really thought it was so awesome for so long to see all these interest rates being low down at like 3%, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we would see like low inventory in the market. So if you got a listing, it was great. They're going to sell right away. It's a seller's market.
Yeah.
And buyers had to be competing, and
Mhm.
instead of being wishy-washy about whether or not they wanted this, they're less picky, and they have to offer over list price. And so not a bad market to be in for a realtor.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously.
But when's the crash going to happen?
Yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of talk out there right
Yeah.
now. When is the real estate crash going to happen? When is this bubble going to burst?
Yes.
And we are here to tell you, as the market dominators, because we educate and advocate, negotiate, and dominate. We are here to tell you there is no bubble. There is no bubble. Okay. Especially here in Western New York, where our properties have been so undervalued for so long.
Right.
That the demand right now has been so high, you could cut out half the demand and still have a very strong seller's market here in Western New York.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to cause the prices to stay relatively where they are and maybe even still to increase.
Right.
You pile inflation on top of that, and not only are house prices more, but your food, your gas, your utilities, everything that you can purchase is more money.
Right.
Okay. So the houses aren't coming down. It's not a bubble. So if you are out there and you're not entering the market because you think that you're just going to wait till these prices come back down again, you are highly, highly going to be mistaken.
Yeah.
It's not happening. Okay.
Well, I think you made a good point, John, where you mentioned that, we've been undervalued for so long. And I think a lot of people, even myself, before I got into the world of real estate, you looked at a house. I mean, I remember I bought my first house and it was $130,000. And I literally said to myself, this will always be a $130,000 house. As long as I can sell it down the road and get my 130 back, I'm happy with it. Right.
That's why you love me so much.
That's why I love you so much, because we got a lot more than 130. Right. But the fact of the matter is nationwide, our prices are a drop in the bucket. I mean, we just had somebody buy that came from California. And when I sent her a listing and what you got for the money, I mean, she was blown away. So you've got to take a large kind of national approach to real estate and look at what other markets are doing that are comparable to Buffalo and where their pricing is at, and then compare it and say, okay, well, are we maxed out or do we got room to grow? And when you do that approach, we've still got plenty of room to grow.
Yeah, we do have room to grow still.
Yeah.
And even if we didn't, I think that it would just mean that we were surpassing some of the other comparable markets to Buffalo, which is okay. It doesn't mean we're in a bubble.
Sure. We don't got to be the lowest.
Yeah. But here's the scary thing is that, we did our recent podcast on knowing the difference between price and cost. And if you bought a home 3.5 months ago, you were going to buy it for a standard $250,000 house. It would cost you $300 less per month for the same house if you bought it 3 months ago. That's $100 a month increase for the same house. That's the pace we're on right now.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And it's not slowing down.
And it's not slowing down. And what that means after 3 months of increases like that, it means that for the same house, you would actually pay an additional $106,000 for that house in interest over the course of 30 years.
Yeah. That's
the difference.
It's huge.
That's just the difference between buying it at 3.72 and 5.847 or something.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And right now the interest rates are going into the sixes.
Yeah.
So it's not going to slow down. I read a report this last week that they're going to be aggressive and start raising them instead of a 1/4 point. I personally think it should be an 1/8 point increases. They're going to start raising it 1/2 point.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. And the scary thing is for new builders, it's a really scary thing because the new builders, the customers don't really lock in their rates until the building has begun and you're getting closer to closing.
That takes months and months. Yeah.
And the builders already got their teeth into a lot of debt, fronting the cost for that home.
Yeah.
And then if those buyers are not any longer pre-approved or qualified to buy the house,
they got to walk away from it. Yeah. You got to walk away from it.
Yeah.
It's a bummer, and it affects things like home equity rates too. You take it out a home equity line of credit. Those are not a set in stone rate. They fluctuate and you're reassessed on a certain basis. And, those are going to go up too. So that's going to affect people's ability to use that to maybe redo their kitchen or do a roof, do an addition.
Yeah.
More cost.
Folks, you are listening to the Market Dominators Real Estate Podcast here live in our brand new studio. This is the very first podcast in the new studio.
Yeah,
we are so excited. We still have some decorating to do. It's a little bit vanilla right now, as you can see. Okay, but we're going to get there. We are going to get there.
When we're done, we'll give you a tour.
We're busy out there selling homes and taking care of clients because that's what we do. We love our clients.
Yep.
We see a big difference between customer service and client care.
Yep.
Customer service is like what?
Like you're in some call center, you take a call, someone's got a complaint, you fire through it as quick as you can. You get them off the phone. Hey, thanks for doing business with us. You're a valued customer. See you later. Bye.
Yeah.
Move on.
And they could be sitting in that cubicle, maybe in another state or even another country.
Yeah.
Okay.
No relationship, nothing personal. Just get you done.
What we do is client care. And what's client care?
Client care is really taking a person-first approach, figuring out where the client's at, whether it's a buyer or seller, and figuring out where they're trying to go, and then partnering with them, walking hand in hand, literally by their side, and actually educating them throughout the process to make sure that they understand, hey, here's why this is like this, here's why this is like this, and here's how it's going to benefit you so that you can make the decision for yourself or for your family, right? And so at the end of the day, it's not just I'm concerned about you as a number, I'm concerned about getting this done as quick as I can, but really it's about how can we serve you in the best possible way. And you can't do that through a 30-minute phone call, get you out, get you done, see you later.
And our slogan is really the definition of client care to us. It's we educate so that our clients make decisions feeling empowered to make those decisions on their own behalf. But they also get to understand the why behind those decisions. Right. Why are you making that decision?
Right.
Why are you going left instead of right here or right instead of left? Why are you doing that? And then as we begin to get into it, we advocate for them, right?
Yeah.
We're going to advocate for them because we're going to be their face as we interact with a buyer or a seller or the opposing party, not always opposing party, but the
other side.
The other side. And then we have to negotiate. There's a lot to negotiate. It's not just the price on the house.
Right.
There's earnest money deposit. There's what type of loan are you getting? How much money are you putting down on your mortgage? Are you going to do a home inspection? What are your closing dates? What about the appliances? This and that. And so there's a ton to negotiate. And then ultimately our goal though is that we together with our client included, we dominate.
Yeah. Dominate, have a great end result that they're happy with.
Yeah.
They're happy. They don't feel like they got steamrolled into something and
that's right.
Whatever, I got the house, they're done,
We help people through life transitions because that's the only reason why you're going to buy or sell a home.
Right.
You're going to have 7 different types of life transitions. We'll have that on another podcast. We'll kind of go through that.
Sure.
But we are really ultimately life transition specialists, applying a lot of client care through educating, advocating, negotiating, and dominating. And a lot of what we are doing, we're actually putting out there on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So, folks, please visit us at the Market Dominators team. Market Dominators team.
Yeah.
Let me say that again. Market Dominators team.
This is exactly how it's spelled.
On YouTube. Subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, please. Yes. And there's a little bell button you could hit to be notified every time we bring new content to the channel,
right?
Which is at least on a weekly basis. So we're very grateful to get to do what we do. and love and serve our clients. So this wacky market includes an insane, crazy increase in the interest rate right now. And it's got to be affecting your buyers. So how does it affect your buyers right now? What's going on?
Well, it definitely is putting downward pressure on your affordability, right? Across the board, if somebody was approved, just like we said, at 3% 4 months ago, and now they're up to 5.5 or close to 6, whatever it might be, they can't necessarily, I say afford, I just use it as a term, they can't necessarily be pre-approved for that same $250,000 house that they were 3 months ago.
So they lose buying power.
They lose buying power. So suddenly now, and this is just the nature of the market, you've been looking at a certain style, certain size, number of bedrooms home for several months, and now suddenly you're not in that realm anymore. And you got to really start to maybe compromise a little bit. We don't want to compromise, but it's the reality of it. You got to be particular in what you're looking at. So,
or if a client can afford it or is pre-approved for higher, they're just going to be paying for it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. 100%.
Like we just said.
Yeah.
The same house, a $250,000 house.
Yeah.
It's going to cost them $300 more per month.
Exactly.
Now.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, if you're not at the top level of your, ability to buy, shopping at 250, well, sure, you can still afford 250, but now 250 is just going to cost you more money.
Yeah.
So, which that still is it's a hard pill to swallow. It is but it's the reality of where we're at right now. So you got to be strategic. And it's all the more reason that I'm encouraging people, as I have been, but hey guys, jump in. Let's get an offer in that is aggressive, that is going to get you the house, or at least put you in the absolute best position that you possibly can to try to get the house, because the people 3 months ago looking back, and now they're like, man, I should have just pulled the trigger on that house 3 months ago. They're kicking themselves.
Or they could have offered maybe 50 grand more 3 months ago.
Right.
And it would cost them the same as if they were buying the house now.
Yeah. Right.
If it was a $250,000 house.
It's tough. It's a tough market for buyers, but it's been that way for several years. But now you've just got the added pressure of the higher rates.
Yeah.
So, John, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that should be a motivator for a seller, right?
Yeah, for several reasons. One, it's a seller's market, so the prices are going up.
Sure.
So the demand is high. Great time to sell, right? That's the obvious.
Right.
But when the interest rates go up like they are, what sellers fail to realize is they inherently think, I don't care about the interest rate. I'm selling, not buying.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. They don't care. They're like, whatever. I just want the most money.
I'm buying cash at my next place, so I don't care about the interest rate. And that would be very short-sighted.
Yeah. They should care.
And here's why. They're taking that house, and where are they going to market it to?
Buyers.
The buyers.
The buyers that are probably getting a mortgage.
Yes.
That are paying a high interest rate.
Correct. Thank you. So a seller should be as much concerned about interest rate when they go to navigate in this market as a buyer.
Yep.
Because let's say somebody puts up a house for $250,000 as an example, and there happens to be 100 buyers out there right now in this demand market, high demand market for that particular home.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
They get 100 showings. They got maybe 30 of them want to put an offer in.
Right.
Okay. These are the kind of things we're experiencing.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. And the interest rates are at, 3.5%. But now the interest rates in 3 months all of a sudden have had a 68% increase, and they're at 5.8. Okay. Now all of a sudden those people that were 100, how many of them now can't afford it because they've lost buying power?
Yep.
Just like you described. And they no longer want to. So maybe you lose 20% of them, you're down to 80.
Yep.
And then maybe there's another 20% who say, you know what? I don't want to pay another $300 a month, even though I could afford it, to buy that house anymore. I'd rather buy a house for less money because I want to keep my monthly budget at X.
Yeah.
So you lose another 20%. So you just keep losing buyers. So now it becomes less competitive.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So as interest rates go up, it's harder to get more money for your house
Absolutely.
because you're not going to have as much competition.
Right.
So at some point, the scale is going to tip in the other direction. Okay. And it's not going to happen like right now.
Yeah.
But it will happen. And then after it happens, you'll be like, oh, it happened. I didn't know it was going to happen then.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? No one's going to know when it's going to happen. We know it is going to happen soon, but we don't know when.
Right.
The market doesn't call people up and say, hey, the market's going to tip today. You might want to sell today because tomorrow at 9:00, it's tipping the other way.
You're right.
Right.
Well, it's gradual. It's very gradual, and the houses that were getting 50 showings are maybe only getting 20.
That's right.
And if they were going to get 20 offers, they might only get 7.
Yeah.
And maybe that buyer that was willing to give you that super wow offer, they're gone. They're not there. They're not looking at your house anymore because they lost the buying power.
Yeah.
So
they lose the buying power. So listen, it is a very, very tricky market to navigate as a buyer or a seller in the midst of going through a whirlwind of rate increases right now. And this is what we're in the middle of.
Yeah.
And we're not at the end of it. We're at the middle or the beginning of it. Okay. The government has already announced they will have 5 additional rate increases before the end of 2022.
Yeah.
We've only had 1, and they've gone up 68% as a result of that 1.
Yeah.
Now, those are the banks trying to get a hold of it too. The secondary mortgage market trying to get ahead of these rate increases because they've already been announced. So they're trying to pack that in right now so they don't lose people who they pre-approve and now they got to go out shopping and, all of a sudden they're not approved anymore and then they lose those people.
Yep.
So they're approving them at higher rates. And the banks are the mortgage companies are packing some in there right now.
Yeah, giving them a little fluff.
They're giving them a little fluff, and
sure.
they're making a little extra money on it right now temporarily. But these rate increases have devastating effects on the market. They're going to be much more acute effects in the market. And so the speed at which adjustment happens is going to increase. So you got to stay on top of things in the market. And you have to be more motivated to operate more swiftly. You got to be swift when you go to navigate in the market, because if you choose to enter into the market now when rates are at 5.8 to 6.25, depending on your credit profile, okay, or your buyer's credit profile that you're marketing to if you're a seller,
right?
And it takes you 30, 60, 90 days to navigate. Well, the rates could be at 7 by then. We don't know.
Absolutely.
But we know they're going up.
Yeah.
Governor already announced it.
Right.
Big difference between that.
Yeah. And not even just inherently the rates, right? I mean, just think about if you're a consumer and you're going out and you're trying to buy a home and suddenly you're seeing, I mean, we're in Buffalo, New York, $4.70 a gallon gas. Your price of your food's going up. If you're trying to buy a car, you're spending thousands more than you would have a year ago.
But you're making more money.
So, well, maybe. For some people, hey, listen, not that's not possible. But in general, the general public is seeing this and they're seeing all these high prices. And even that is having a little psychological effect on, well, if I'm spending more on here, and a house, is it the best time for me to buy a house? They might be questioning that. Again, talking about the demand. You might just pull some people out because they're just nervous that they're going to be paycheck to paycheck if they buy that house because they're costing more for everything else. So, and even paying attention to that sector of the economy, paying attention to the news, where those prices are going, that's factoring into stuff too.
Yes. We have a little bit of a frenzy still going on right now because people know that rates are increasing and they're trying to get homes. They're trying to purchase these homes before they go higher.
Absolutely.
And it's the right thing for them to be doing.
I would agree.
Okay. It's the right thing for them to be doing.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to me. We put up new listings and we do what's called the Market Dominator List Price Challenge. We did one this morning. I've got a video coming out on our, we'll put it on the YouTube channel as well, but also on our Facebook as well. And we before we list the property a day before, so we put it out and we have people guess what the list price is going to be for this house and show them a little bit of the house, not too much. Give them one little hint. And the person who comes closest without going over wins a $25 gift card to the greatest coffee shop in America, Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons.
So, yeah, it's a fun thing. We get a lot of action on our Facebook page for that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that I'm starting to see on the list price challenge, because we get anywhere from 150 to 250 comments on these posts. And I'm starting to see some ridiculous numbers people are putting on these houses.
Yeah.
Like
very high.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's interesting to it helps us get a barometer of what people are thinking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't otherwise see.
Right.
So it's very interesting. Very interesting. But we do work hard at staying on top of what is happening in the market. We use the most current cutting edge technology and tools with the effective use of AI, artificial intelligence, to market and learn about what's going on in the market, to help you, to help educate you, to help advocate when you begin to navigate the market, and to be able to negotiate effectively so that we can dominate. Yes. So we are the Market Dominators. I am John Spascheck, Associate Real Estate Broker. I am with the #1 buyer specialist in Western New York, award-winning agent Scott Catillus. And we are the Market Dominators. We are here to serve you. We take a client care approach. We believe that you're going through some sort of life transition if you are buying or selling your home. We have done a lot of work and time spent at becoming expert in those transitions to help get alongside you and help you go through it so that it is as easy and seamless as possible. And most of the time, what is a very complex experience for a buyer or a seller, depending on what they're navigating. You can find more information about us and about real estate at our YouTube channel, Market Dominators Team on YouTube. Please like and subscribe.
Check that out right there.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
You can even hit the bell button. What's the bell button do?
It just gives you notifications. We put a new video up, you're alerted. You don't have to go to the channel and then check. You're alerted.
Boom, boom. Pretty soon, folks, we're going to allow our podcast to have the ability for you to start making comments. We may get to a point where we start doing them live and have some interaction. We're going to start thinking about also adding some guests to our show.
Yeah, absolutely.
That are industry-related guests, but also potentially having a segment on the show that celebrates our clients. You know what's interesting is for every client we have, we start a folder, a file, okay? That's a business organization strategy, right? You have a file folder on each client,
right?
And that's where important documents are going to go. We take notes in there and that kind of thing. And most of the people call, what I'm looking for the so-and-so file. What about this file, that file, that file? Listen, behind every file is a name.
Yeah.
And behind every name of our client is a story.
Right. Yep.
And those stories we care about. We care about them. And we get the incredible opportunity to learn about those stories and actually become a part of those stories.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
By helping our clients achieve their goals in those transitions they're going through. And it is an incredibly rewarding experience.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So we've had some folks recently that, a local firefighter, they were having trouble buying a house. They couldn't get it done. They were working with other agents and it just wasn't happening. And they got defeated. They got discouraged and they were, relegated to an apartment that they had outgrown.
Yep.
They have a couple kids and a new one on the way. And, one of them heard about us. So reached out and, man, that was really a cool story after learning what they experienced. And we were able to quickly get them into a home And by the way, even in this market, under what kind of mortgage?
FHA.
With what kind of concessions?
Full
seller's concessions.
Full seller's concessions.
And I can't tell you, probably every single week in this market, I hear agents in our market saying you cannot get an FHA with full seller's concessions in this market. We don't even look at them.
Yeah.
That is not true. Do not get discouraged. We have been getting buyers bought with FHA mortgages and full concessions that are now in home ownership in the last 6 months.
Yeah. And you know what? You know what's cool about that story is that house, by the time we saw it, like online, the due date had come and gone for offers. It was gone. Did you get an offer? Yeah, we got 4. Okay, hey, best of luck with the sale. Appreciate it. My people had sent it to me. Just wanted to like make sure that really got an offer. She calls me back like 2 days later, 3 days later. Would you guys still be interested in the house? Well, yeah. I mean, sure. Why? What happened? Well, the winning buyer walked away. Now, keep in mind, like, we didn't even see the house. And I'm thinking, like, why are you calling me? Why are you You had 3 other offers. Why didn't you just call them? There was other showings too. Why didn't you call them? She's like, I think you know what you're doing. And so I want to work with you. I've never met this agent before. I know the name, but like never met her before. So we end up getting first shot, no other like competition, like the relationship got the house, you know? So it was, I loved it. It was great. It was so good. Yeah, you're getting goosebumps.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, come on.
It was cool. And we closed that in 30 days. That was like the fastest closing mortgage I ever had.
Wait a minute. No, you did not.
30 days.
FHA mortgage, full concessions. You closed it in 30 days.
30 days. 1 month.
We are the market dominators, folks.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we do. We love winning.
Yep.
We will educate you. You make the decisions. We won't steamroll over you. We will go at your pace.
Yeah.
But we will win.
We will win.
Okay? If you're defeated, if you are bummed and you're struggling in this market, you need to reach out and give us a call, because we will get behind you and we will put a team of people around you and we will get it done. Okay? We will get it done. So thank you for tuning in to the Market Dominators Team Real Estate Podcast here in our brand new studio, which we will be continuing to improve. Thank you for tuning in. I am John Spaschek. I am here with award-winning agent, #1 buyer specialist in Western New York, Mr. Scott Catillus. And we are tuning out until next time.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.